What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be discussing Kobe Bryant's rookie card prices and how they are actually inflated and overvalued, and how I think the card market will actually continue dropping for these cards in particular. So, the one thing that I keep hearing when I watch videos of people at, let's say, the Dallas Card Show, or most recently the Boston Card Show, or what I think a lot of people are going to be talking about at the National, is when you're looking at Kobe Bryant cards to buy, they keep saying, oh, well, there's a documentary that's about to come up, and these prices are going to skyrocket, right? And so a lot of people are thinking Kobe's a really good buy because of what happened with Michael Jordan's rookie cards, especially during that documentary series, The Last Dance, that came out and how they boomed. Well, what a lot of people don't realize is during that Last Dance premiere, the card market was on its own increasing exponentially. And I think that just added a little bit extra towards vintage to allow vintage to start increasing a lot more. And I think we saw that reflect in the prices of vintage cards. But with Kobe, a lot of people are building in that documentary into their values currently. And as you can see here on Card Ladder, his PSA 10 Topps Chrome rookies. Now, this doesn't say which were greened or not, like this sale here for 27.5 could have been a non-green copy, where this one a week earlier for 22 was a fully green copy. It doesn't reflect that just based off of the chart, but overall we can see that over the past month or 3 months, Kobe has dropped $11,500 in value from where he was at 26,000 to where he is now at roughly 14.5. And I think at 14.5, it's tough to say whether or not it's a good price or a bad price. I don't think it's really bad, especially for a pop 833 card. We could check out LeBron's as well and see what his is doing. But I'm not 100% sure. I've done that twice now. I'm not 100% sure exactly what the value should be, but the one thing I want to cover is his prices are being inflated by this extreme viewpoint, or pretty much a guess that there's going to be a documentary release shortly that will spike up the prices and increase the prices of his cards. But what a lot of investors aren't realizing is people are using that in increasing the price of his cards, and that has already been built in to his prices, where I don't think they're going to jump that much no matter where you purchase them at now, when and if that documentary is released. I think we saw this with Kevin Durant cards this past season, and we saw him with the Euros. A lot of players' prices decreased during the Euros, which is why a lot of people were told sell beforehand. But cards weren't even skyrocketing up for the Euros. I think in the months leading up to them, that Euro expectation for soccer cards was already built into the price, where we just started to see them decline for a lot of the bigger names instead of go up as we predicted, especially with Kevin Durant cards. People were building in that expectation that the Nets were going to win a championship into his prices, and then once the Nets ultimately lost, his prices have tanked, and I think his PSA 9 Topps Chromes are now, I mean, on sites other than eBay, you can get them for like $750 or $800 a piece very easily. So I think that's something you guys have to think about with Kobe cards. But there's something in this article that was released by ESPN, and it's talking about how they've documented his final season. A lot of his career was documented because he was such a high profile player and he had so many big, off the court events, especially with his case in Denver. And he was just a high profile player that was a very good player, especially with the Shaq thing. And so I think we could see something down the line. But what I really like in this article is it's talking about how sources close to this quote unquote like issue or whatever, or this view of whether or not it's going to be released, are saying the footage has is there and it's been in editing, but it's going to be released years from now. We're talking like 2 to 3 years in the future at least. And so it's very difficult to think I'm going to buy these cards now for what, $14,500 and sit on them for multiple years for the hope that I could maybe make $1,000 or $2,000 profit. I don't think it's worth it for putting almost $15,000 on the line after buyer's premium or after taxes or whatever you're going to pay. I just don't think it's worth it for Kobe cards. Now, I want to see what is up on eBay. There is a PSA 10 fully green copy currently at $10,100. And for these cards in particular, it's very important that you look at how green a card is. And I think it's very evident if you look in this picture at Kobe, and then you look at this refractor that's up. He doesn't even look like the same player. You can't see the yellow in his jersey. The guy here that's jumping up for a block, his jersey's all black, where in this picture it's blue. So that is something that you have to look at. That does play a very large role in the price of the card. Now, this is a copy here, and they're asking $70,000 because it's not greened as much as some of the other ones. And so that's something you have to think about. But a lot of these cards that we're seeing are fully green copies, and they're still asking $17,000. We see a green copy here that's at bids with 4 days, pretty much 5 days left, and it's at $10,000 with bids. So I don't even think Card Ladder's value is correct. We can check completed items here and see, but I think here's one that was put up for $12,400 and was bought outright. We see an 11.8, 11.6, and so I'm guessing Card Ladder might actually be low. I'm guessing it's more of like a $12,000 to $13,000 card currently. But as you can see, the prices are all over the board based off of the condition of the card, and that's something that's going to play a very important role. Even if this documentary is never released, a copy like this, which sold for more than the other ones, it looks like, is just going to be better overall. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see the listing, but a copy that's kind of like pristine, or at least is better to the eye and has greater eye appeal, is going to be more valuable down the line than any other copy that you look at. Doesn't matter what's released, those are going to be the ones that people are going to want, like this copy right here, if they let us see the picture. Of course, online eBay is not going to let me, but you guys get the point. Now, I think what a lot of people need to understand is, like I said, be very careful buying these cards because the value's built in. We've seen a little bit of spikes here and there, and it's probably just because of certain copies, but the trend is just trending down at 44%. We can see that in the data provided by Card Ladder, and this is free on Card Ladder. That's what I use because I don't want to pay money, especially for something like market movers. But if we check the past month even, it looks like it's starting to go back up, which I think is in anticipation for the National. But it is still down $500 from 15 days ago, roughly. And so that's when the last sale was. So I think it is very important for you to use trends, use like average price that's provided to you for free, and then look at eBay completed listings and see. If you do some research, the card market is so much easier to understand. If you look up, let's say for prospecting, a player's, what scouts are saying their ceiling is, and seeing how they're progressing throughout the years, that'll help you do much better. If you look and see when this documentary is actually going to be released, are we going to see something over the next couple of years, or is it going to be like a couple of months? And what a lot of people don't understand is Kobe actually has a documentary or movie, I think it's 83 minutes long, I just looked it up, called Muse, that Michael Jordan didn't have. People aren't even thinking about this. So maybe his price won't even go up if that documentary is released. But I do think it would be very very viewed, and I think it would be as big, if not a little bit bigger, than The Last Dance, just because of the modern day, like kind of what Kobe was to a lot of people now that are probably going to be watching the documentary. A lot of people like myself grew up watching Kobe, whereas I didn't get to watch MJ. So I think that will help and hinder um, the views on the documentary. But I think it's going to be just as big as The Last Dance, which, if everything goes according to a lot of people's plans, will only help the cards go up. But this is just an article on ESPN that I found with a nice little video as well. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.